Hi, Kate.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi. I am so excited to be doing this. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time and spending it with me today.
Thank you. Let me.
Perfect. Okay, so just introduce yourselves. What instruments do you play? Where are you guys from?
Okay. I'll start off. Yeah, I'm Jonah. I play guitar, rhythm guitar, and I am the singer of Black Pearl.
I'm Matthew. I play bass guitar.
I'm Jacob, and I play lead guitar.
And I'm John, and I play the drums.
We're all
Nice.
from Texas.
Texas, awesome. So how did you meet? How did you become a band?
We actually, funny you asked that. We did an Instagram question thing today, and someone asked the same question. We were talking about it. Me and Jacob actually met in high school around where we live, and we kind of met in the class and just got to know each other. And then a few months later, I think we talked about starting a band, and we both met Ja at a summer camp that we went to that we were working at, and
I'm his brother. So
yeah.
Oh, cool. Brothers,
Yeah,
awesome.
Like that.
I've known him for a little while longer than the other guys.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so then I think me and Jacob came up with the idea originally, and then we presented it to Ja and Matt, and they said yes. So we've been a band for however long since. Yeah.
Year and some change.
A year and some change.
Did you guys always were you always playing instruments and then you just kind of came together, or did you pick it up more when you decided you wanted to start a band?
I mean, I played a little bit. I played piano and stuff, and started learning guitar, but I didn't really care to. I didn't care enough to get decent until we started the band and really focus on that.
Yeah, I was gonna go to college for something else, and I'd never picked up an instrument in my life. And then I was like, what do I want to do? And I was like, listen to music. I was like, I love music. So I was like, let me try guitar. Bought an $80 guitar. It was so crap. But
Got to start somewhere.
learn as much guitar as I could. And then Matthew's a more musical one out of our family than me.
Yeah. Since sixth grade, I got this little keyboard that we had from the attic. Started playing on that. Then middle school, I played trumpet. It's pretty good, not gonna lie. And then high school, I went to choir, and then I picked up the bass guitar once we started talking about the band stuff.
He was
So you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then for me, both of my parents were in the music industry in some way, so I was just kind of born around it. And then I want to say around middle school, I started really picking up the drums, and then I was in drumline. And then in 7th grade, we couldn't have any more people in drumline, so I had to play trumpet. And then I played trumpet all through high school. I was better than Matthew. We didn't go to the same high school though.
Yeah.
And then from then I just kept playing the drums outside of at my old church, and then it just flowed into me playing drums at camp, and then that's why I met them.
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna pull the trumpet out in your music? Because you totally should.
Great question. We'll do a trumpet duo.
It'll be battling solos.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. Please do that. Oh my God. So where did Black Pearl come from? Where'd you get that name?
The funny thing is, we occasionally, there's this spot called Yo-Yo's. It's a hot dog stand in Houston, and it's open from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. on Fridays and Thursdays or whatever. And it's a super big spot. So what we used to do is we used to go, and we'd always DoorDash, or because the line's an hour and a half. And we're we don't want to sit there in a line. So we DoorDash, pick it up, eat our food, and then we get on bikes in Houston and just ride around until our other friends would sit in line or whatever.
Because they wanted the experience.
Yes.
Oh.
And we're riding around, and we at the time we had the band name Not Your Sister's Weekend, and it was based off of a random generated rock band name that we got.
Oh, that's fun, actually. That's kind of cool.
And we had a couple band names, but that one was we were just riding on bikes, and then one of us was just like, "What? Have you ever thought of Black Pearl?" And we're like the ship. And we're but it's not the Black Pearl, it's Black Pearl.
Yeah.
So then from there it really stuck. And then just getting branding and everything behind it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's such a fun name. I really like it. it's very distinctive, like you say, Black Pearl, and obviously you know who you're talking about. But so you guys only have 3 songs out right now. What was the process like making those songs? Where did that, like, where, when you started first writing? October 17th is the first single, correct? So where did it start with that and all the way to your most recent single?
Well, I think with us working on music, it's a bit of a weird process just because I have like, and currently right now we're in my studio at my house where I just kind of work on music. And it started off with, I think Jacob came to me with the idea for like the basic like verse chords and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like the chorus was a lot different and all that stuff. And he started writing and I was like, oh, this is cool. So we started kind of developing it, and eventually we got to go to the studio. But it's definitely weird because like we've never done anything that like serious. We're like, oh yeah, we've written a bunch of songs and they were all pretty bad.
Yeah.
So like now like this is the first decent song we have that we're like, let's go to the studio, and like I'm all nervous and having to go in the vocal booth and I'm like giggling the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing.
It's funny because the whole like idea, even just for the drums of the song, it was like, hey, we have this idea. Can you play it?
Yeah.
It was like I mean, yeah, sure. And if I remember correct, we got it from, it was like a little piece of a Phoebe Bridgers song, and then we just made it the whole entire song.
Yeah, it was a Kyoto. That, like,
Yes, I
chorus.
love that song. Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool, and it's also funny because before we even played that song live, like we're like, yeah, we got everything. We like midied and I had all these like robot drums. And we're like, yeah, this is good, right? Like, sure. Like, so it's definitely, yeah, it's a very interesting process. We feel definitely more comfortable with it now,
For sure.
but we're still developing how we want to do it with like different, like we're looking at different mixing engineers and different people that can really help us elevate our music and like audio sense.
And lyrically, where does that stand? Like, did someone come up with the lyrics and like bring it into the band, or is it something that you guys all kind of work on collaboratively?
October 17th specifically, I think, did I come to you with the October 17th line?
Yeah, with like the whole first verse.
Yes. So the verse, it was just based on a situation, just about letting someone go in a way that's not physical. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally.
Yeah, like emotional attachment.
Yeah, and dealing with things through that, and then yeah, we brought it to each other as like a whole band, and then really fleshed out the chorus, because it's always a funny thing of like a lot of times I'll bring something to Jonah, and Jonah's way better at writing chords than me. So like I had this whole thing set up, and I remember recording it. I was like, "This is so sick." And I was like, "Dude, look at this." He's like, "Yeah, but what if we do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do that with that." So, but besides that, we just write about experiences in our life. A lot of the times, same thing would take you there, and it's just mainly about trying to relate to people, because we understand we're not the only ones feeling these things. And I know nowadays, especially with social media and stuff like that, you can feel very alone and cooped up in your room. And we just hope when people listen to our music, they hear a friend going through the same thing as them.
Yeah, that's an awesome mission to have. I love seeing artists that are able to have emotional vulnerability in their music, and I think that it's really great that you guys have been able to start out like that, and like it's getting you off on a great foot. So you can answer this individually or as a group, but who have some of your biggest influences been, whether that be like another artist or just someone in your family or a friend or whoever or whatever?
Do you want to go like individual and then we just do like
Yeah.
Okay, so John.
Okay. So as far as drumming, my favorite drummer is Questlove. I will stand by that for the rest of my life. No matter how much I get made fun of for it. But I think musically I try the keyword. I try to take a lot of influence from jazz music. We're talking about Dave Grohl a while back, and how like a lot of his influences are like old blues music. So I try to like pull from what I can as far as that, because we're not necessarily like a jazz band, but a lot of that goes into a lot of music, which is really cool.
My influences is playing guitar. It was John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili
Mhm.
Peppers. I really loved the
That's
dry,
awesome.
very technical feel of him. And Robert Johnson, he's a 20s blues player, and I really liked him. But yeah, growing up, that's what usually I would listen to. Like,
And then for me, like bass, there's two basses that come to mind that I really want to pull from is the bassist from The Strokes and the bassist from the Radiohead. The Strokes, he just has a fun time most of the
Mhm.
time, and it's great. And Radiohead, he's very technical, and he knows when to play, he knows when to stop playing, he knows when to like. He's very technical, and it's great. And I just
Mhm.
want to try to mix those two and just have a good time playing.
Yeah. Mine is definitely probably it's Jeff Buckley is my, at least right now. I mean, in the last year or so, I really got into him and really he's a big influence on me. And then probably the 1975, like Matt Healy type stuff. Like I've loved their music forever. So those are probably my biggest ones.
I think us as a band, a lot of our influences is like a band called Inhaler. They're from
Mhm.
Dublin. 1975, The Killers. It's very much that. Even Radiohead, even we're massive Radiohead fans. It's that very much Brit rock,
Mhm.
early 2000s. I know the Killers aren't from, they're from Las Vegas, but they sound Brit
Yeah.
rock esque, and just yeah,
I thought they were Brit Rock until like a year ago.
yeah, no.
I think we were in Vegas and my brother's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I love the Killers. Like, they're so good. They're British. And he's like, they're from Vegas. I was like, oh. It's like, okay, cool.
That is a wonderful lineup. I just have to say that genuinely just made me so happy. I love the Strokes. They're like my favorite band of all time. Nikolai is like the coolest bassist ever. Yeah, that just made me really happy. Anyways, was music always like a part of your life, or was it something that you kind of grew into? Like were your parents or families or whoever playing music that still influences your life now?
I don't know. My brother is probably of my family. He's my biggest musical influence, I guess, because he played guitar and drums and stuff like that, and was really musically inclined. Um, but I don't know. My dad and my mom, like my mom played a little bit of piano, but she is not musically inclined at all. Or they're both not. My dad just like he'll sing as a joke and stuff like that, but it's definitely one of those things where I feel personally I grew into it like once I started becoming like 12, 13, just really wanting to do it.
Oh, we're gonna go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
For me, like as a kid, I really wasn't that much in love with music because I was listening to a lot of like video game music and not like soundtrack, like video game covers, like the Living Tombstones of FNAF, like Five Nights at Freddy's type stuff. Minecraft.
That was hard though. That was
Yeah,
No,
hard.
Minecraft
P14 is
is
amazing.
crazy.
But once I got into like middle school, I started listening to like classical piano. I really like that. It's amazing. And then once I got into actual bass guitar, around that area, I've been trying to like expand what I've been listening to. So I've been listening to a lot of stuff recently. So it's very nice.
When I was younger, I listened to just my dad really liked AC/DC and Jimi Hendrix, Rush, and I guess that sort of implanted a sense of rock music because then I really grew up listening to Jet, like early 2000s, The Strokes, obviously, um, and then as growing up, it's um, it's it's been more of pop, I guess, with especially like Inhaler, even Brinson Maroney. Like that's a big one that I was listening to, but the first like band that I heard that like struck me and I was like, I want to be like them was Oasis, just because they were such a rock star. They were just so much of a rock stars, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. They're going on stage and they're doing what they want, and like the crowd is ultimately captivated by them. They're like, what the heck? It was just I remember seeing that. And I was like, that's the most insane thing ever.
Yeah.
my answers are completely out of the picture from theirs. I grew up, so my mom was a singer and my dad was a producer, and that's how they met. But like, I grew up listening to Beyonce, Keisha Cole, like, and then like throw some like Christian, some like some Christian rap in there, and like I grew up around gospel, and like it was a whole completely different scene. But I think it kind of like pushed me towards like where I am now. So like I used to make beats like in my room. I used to make like hip hop, like lo-fi hip hop kind of beats, which transferred into me liking more like I guess like hip hop and R&B, and then which pushed me towards like a different like being in the band now, especially pushed me towards like liking more like alternative and like more poppy rock kind of songs. So like now, like I guess my go-to genre would be like alternative R&B and like alternative hip hop, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I always joke with somebody that we work with that all boom bap is or it all or no all lo-fi is like 8-bit boom bap, and like that's what I listen to all the time. So it's just like a stem of what my dad has so graciously passed down.
Yeah.
Has your music influence, like, has that bled into each other? Like, have you guys started listening more towards what Jaw's listening to now and vice versa? Like, have you found music from each other a lot?
Yeah, I would say 1000%.
Yeah.
Especially uh it's funny. I think these two guys are the most musically diverse
Oh,
and like the most different types of music. Me and Jonah are very much we like this kind of music and we're staying in this lane. I listen
Yeah.
to the same 3 bands.
Once I find a song, the other day we were listening, and I've never been a huge Backseat Lovers fan. I like, not that I dislike them, but like I've just never personally sought out their music. And I saw a video for "Slowing Down," which was on their new album. And we listened to it, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. Like, this is the greatest song I've ever heard.
It's the greatest
Like,
thing
this
I've
is
ever
the
heard.
greatest song I've ever heard. I'm like, what the freak? I'm like, no one's telling me this. I was like, and like, it's one of those things where like I have not a problem, but like I just don't look for new music because I'll listen to something to death. When I heard "Lover, You Should Have Come Over" for the first time like a year ago, I like it was nonstop. I'm like, guys, you gotta listen. You gotta.
No, that's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
like at the beginning of shows, it'd be like,
Yeah.
like what the heck?
Yeah.
But I do think it also bleeds into our music. And a good example is in my head, the second verse, they play like this funk rhythm section. He's playing slap bass. And it's just like this, like if me and Jonah were writing that song, like and it was just us, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Like that's just not like we just wouldn't have thought of like doing something like that. So it definitely bleeds in certain ways of how each part flows with each other.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of common ground of what we like between each other. And even though we have, I have a very narrow music taste. Um, they're able to put in their diverse music taste into and like make something that we're all proud of.
I think it even like I guess bleeds into like our relationships that we build with each other. Like me and Matthew send each other music all the time, and like Jacob, like I will say Jacob does like Kendrick Lamar and like Baby Keem. So that
Dude, that goes so hard. It's so good, man.
so like that's where we bond, and then like Jonah on the more like jazzy, like
Yeah.
Jeff Buckley side of things.
Oh, freak.
And that's as far as it goes for Jonah. It's like anything outside of those ranges is corny or it's not good. So, but yeah, I think it's
get
like
it.
I think it really like builds a relationship like internally for like when we do go into like making a song. So like whereas they may not think of something, I may have an idea or Matthew may have an idea, and like we can throw out our ideas and it not be like I don't really like that. Like, hey, dude, let's try it and see what works.
Do you think you've gained a sense of like respect for each other musically and as friends from that?
100%.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
I also feel like when we started, I mean, a year ish ago, and when we started playing,
We're
like
bad.
I was not, I was good. All I knew was like little cowboy chords. I'm like, guys, I have this new song. Same 4 chords I know or whatever. And Jacob just started learning. Jaw played for way longer than we did to start out, at least. And Matthew, in A year
Oh my
ago, he
gosh.
wasn't even playing.
Oh my
But like
gosh.
by March, he had his instrument for like 2 months, I guess, and he was way better than me and Jake.
I know. We're like, bro.
It was wild. It's crazy because we literally like in public we brag on Matthew. We're like, yeah, guys, he just learned bass in 3 months.
He's
like,
the best.
He's sick, dude.
Yeah.
And then we would play stuff and Matt be like, look at this new Tool song I learned. It's like, we're like, calm down, bro. We can't. So it's definitely something where like in the last year or like even a little bit more than that, like I've definitely felt we've progressed so much because I've at one point we look back and we cringe so hard.
We have videos of like
Oh.
our first practice and stuff like that. And just giving you a hint, we used to play, but like it was butt rock. Like
It
it
was
was
butt rock.
Oh
butt rock.
my
But
God.
like some of the song titles, like it was called Problem Child.
Well,
Like that was the most 70s wannabe song.
You got to
I've
start
ever-
somewhere.
Yeah,
I
I guess.
yeah.
I guess.
we're just listening to Led Zeppelin and we're like, yes,
Red
this
Van
is
Fleet.
Red Van Fleet.
That's
I-
wild because you guys actually put me on this Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
crazy.
I mean, the music's good, but we were like
Good
a
times,
worse, way worse version than they were.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's good that we've progressed, but it's just sometimes hard looking back. And I can't wait till someone finds one of those videos.
Oh my
Well,
God.
we hold them and we look at them periodically just to be like, guys,
You know,
Remind
like,
yourself.
We came from somewhere.
we're from here.
Mhm,
So
mhm. Yeah, I totally get that. That's actually really funny. So you guys just played a show. Was that your first show, or have you played a few previous to that?
that was our, I would say like 12, something like
We've been
12
playing
Okay.
shows since last January? No, February.
Yeah, because it was after my birthday. Or
Yeah.
before my
Is
birthday.
a-
So February. We're
yeah,
coming
our-
up on a year.
Our first show ever was like a coffee show, like a coffee house. So it was like more acoustic and it was cool. But we've definitely grown a lot from then because also with all the shows we've been playing, we're making more of our own original music. And that show we had like two, 3 songs maybe that we wrote. But we've probably played like 15 shows since.
That's awesome. I was totally off with that. How have when you guys first started playing live shows, were you dealing with a lot of like stage fright and anxiety coming into that?
Oh my
God.
goodness. It was well. I'll say it's hard for me to get nervous until like it's like okay guys, what tempo is the first song
Yeah.
we're playing? Like until it gets to like we have to like okay we absolutely have to start like then I'm not nervous. But until we get to that like when we get to that point I'm like my hands are sweating. I'm gonna throw a stick at somebody. It's wild.
Yeah. Also, it's like I don't feel nervous at all until it's a situation where we're forgetting. Like he was saying, like the tempo stuff. Like there's some songs that we just struggle, and we're like,
Bro, it's hard,
hey
man.
guys, we're like, we need to keep this tempo. What is it? And like we'll turn around and be like, okay, well,
Okay.
one, two. Like we're trying to do that, but like not until we get in those situations. Like I'm only nervous about like some of the talking aspects on stage, just because I'm not
Mhm.
super like I'm not scared of being on stage. I mean, I've done it. We've done it enough, and I've done it for other stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. But like, bro, when it comes to being like, hey guys, how you doing? Like it sometimes gets
Trust me,
weird.
it sounds exactly like that.
Yeah.
on stage.
Oh, you know what? Like I've said like 3 times already, you got to start somewhere.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sure it's entertaining to the crowd too, like I don't think anyone's standing up and being like, "Oh my God, why did he say that? He sounded so weird,"
Yeah.
So just overall, how did that last show feel? Because I saw some of the videos and the energy was just insane. How did that go for you guys?
It felt really good.
Yeah.
We at December we got a little bit of traction, so we did a rebrand of Black Prone itself, and it was our first show in full suits, and we're adding new things. Like we wanted to elevate our show as it is, and just adding new things to bring the crowd in a little more, and it felt really good. We had like 60-70 people come out.
That's
It was
awesome.
a small place, so it felt like there was a bunch of people. there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold like I think we had a whole thing about selling tickets. We sold like 27 tickets, which like I mean it's pretty cool. But then there's also bands getting tickets from other people. Yeah, the only thing is that show it felt really really great. but there was just some little things that just really got us and got me a little bit nervous, like wearing the suits especially, and
That was
also
scary.
we have like a million things to plug in, and we're trying to set up,
Gosh.
and my pedal board isn't working, and I'm
Oh,
freaking
no.
out. I'm like, why is it not working? And like I'm it literally took so long, and then I didn't even notice until the day after. I didn't even use it, and I looked at my cord, and it looked like it was chewed by a freaking rat or something, like my wire, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, I guess I gotta buy a new one. So
It's funny because while this is going on, me and Matthew are like having conversation,
Yeah,
just
laughing,
chilling.
like
We don't
playing
have a lot to
music.
plug in.
We're like, what do we do, guys?
And the thing about it is, it was our first show that we haven't we played in a while, just because we've been busy with work and all that. So we were like, we practiced like 4 times, like 2 weeks
Yeah.
beforehand. We were making sure we had every song down, practicing in our suits to try to get the feeling of like how low I should play our guitars and all that.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, it was nerve wracking. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
much.
But with like all that like things going wrong, it's good to know that like I don't know if people even noticed.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like their the reception that we got was really I don't think our music is very mosh pitty.
People are moshing.
Like I don't.
I saw that on the
I like
videos.
listen to our music and I'm like I don't think I'm mosh pit to this. But
I get it. I get a cool head bob.
yeah, we've
Yeah.
had mosh pits.
That's also
It has to do
uh,
with the energy. It's not
yeah.
even always about the type of music. It's just the
I
energy in
guess
the room
so.
that's going on.
that's also something with the whole crowd that's in Houston is like Houston is a very like punk, like heavy
Aggressive.
bands type
Mhm.
like city where like we just don't know a lot of bands that are like more indie. Like there's a few, but even with the show though, the reason they started doing that is because I'm like joking, but we're on stage. It's between song. I'm like, hey guys, if you want to form a pit, like if you want to get that going, like I'm like thinking it's funny, but I know they'll do it because these people are down. And like we see
Mhm.
people like there's a big door that's like a garage door type thing, and as soon as I said that, you see people running from outside.
just
they're like
fine.
flooding in. They're like, oh, like it's
That's
very
great.
funny.
One of our friends got like accidentally thrown into the mod.
Oh
Like
no.
he got like pushed in and he was like screaming for help. That was very funny.
That video we posted on Instagram.
Mhm.
If I cut it out, but you can see him getting sucked
You got
into
me.
the.
Oh my god, I'm totally gonna go back and look for it now.
It's very fun.
It was very aggressive, but it's weird because I love seeing it with our songs.
Mhm.
Again, we don't expect people to mosh our songs, but when I do see it, it gives me so much confidence to start playing, to like
Yeah,
keep
for
playing
sure.
and go crazy. Oh my
So how
gosh.
was that like post gig adrenaline? How was like afterwards? What did you guys do? Like were you just freaking out in the back?
You just kind of
Yeah. So
I wanted to go take a nap.
we went to there's this place in Houston called Frank's Pizza downtown. It's really good. We're like, hey guys, we'll all go down there. Like some of Jaws' friends came from Beaumont to come and like support him and see him. Some of Jacob's homies came out and we're like, yeah, let's go get pizza down there. We're like, okay, cool. We drive that way. And as I'm pulling my car into the parking lot,
Oh,
my alternator just dies.
It's crapped out.
Crapped
Like, in
out.
the parking lot?
Yeah, like not even parked yet. I'm just driving.
Oh my
And
God.
so I go and I'm like, my car just turned off. I'm like, that's weird, right? And then so we're trying to like jump it, and then like it jumps for a second, but as soon as they unplug it, it turns off. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'll call my dad. Let's go eat some pizza and just figure this out, I guess. And basically, we're there for until 4 a.m. and we get my
Yes.
car towed all the way back to my house. My parents came down. We're hanging out. We're all dead, and
That was so tiring.
yeah, it was fun. It's
Great.
it's good to look back on.
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was
A
not
memorable
fun.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and Take You There just got 100,000 streams, right? You just hit that a couple
Yes.
or
Yeah.
wasn't it yesterday? It's yesterday or the day
Yes.
before. That is awesome. I'm super excited for you guys about that. That song is awesome, and I'm so happy to see people listening to it and seeing you guys as a band. That's about all the questions I have for you, but I really appreciate you just talking, and I hope the world gets to hear more of your music soon. Is there anything coming up that you want to plug? Any new music or just anything going on in general?
We have a few songs in the works of mixing stage and recording stage, and we have a few shows coming up. Our closest one in March, but we're trying to play a few in February. Just being on the lookout. We have some YouTube videos that
Mhm.
are coming down the pipeline. But besides that, we're just trying to perfect our craft, become more of a band together, and try to just bring more of an experience of what Black Pearl is to people who watch us.
That is awesome. So excited for you guys. Good luck with the future. I can't wait to see what comes next.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank
so
you so
much.
much.